Sarah's actions created far more than a crime scene. They left a trail of shattered lives behind. Betsy was left deeply traumatized after discovering Theo's lifeless body, while the emotional fallout spread through Weatherfield. The biggest mistake Sarah made after Theo's death was turning to Gary for help covering everything up. From that moment on, the pair spent weeks exchanging secret conversations, sneaking into private meetings, and hiding the truth from everyone around them. Their suspicious behavior quickly caught the attention of Gary's wife, Maria, who began to suspect something was seriously wrong. At the same time, Sarah's boyfriend, Kit, became convinced that she had rekindled her romance with Gary. The growing mistrust eventually exploded during an unforgettable dinner party where accusations flew in every direction. The confrontation pushed Gary and Maria's marriage to the brink of collapse. Sarah's confession only made matters worse. She admitted to Todd that she was responsible for Theo's death, leaving him devastated and ending their close friendship. Soon afterward, Kit chose the worst possible moment to propose, only for Sarah to reveal the truth instead of accepting his marriage proposal. Next week, Maria receives alarming news from Fizz, who reveals she overheard Kit saying that Gary would soon be arrested. Terrified by what she hears, Maria begins fearing the worst. However, events take an unexpected turn. The police realize they've been focusing on the wrong suspect, and before long, Lisa brings Sarah in for questioning before officially charging her with Theo's murder. Despite Sarah's arrest, Maria finds little comfort. She warns Gary that she's terrified Sarah could eventually be released, leaving the investigation to shift back onto him. Gary attempts to calm her fears, but it's obvious his thoughts remain fixed on Sarah as she sits behind bars awaiting her fate. The following day, Maria stumbles across a discovery that changes everything. While working, she notices a wedding night photograph being used as a phone screensaver. Looking closely, she spots Gary standing in the background of the image. The photograph completely destroys the story Gary had told her. He had insisted he spent the entire evening at the builder's yard, yet the picture clearly places him elsewhere on the night Theo died. Maria immediately asks for a copy of the image before confronting Gary at home. Faced with undeniable proof, Gary realizes there is no way to explain away his lies. The evidence also raises fresh questions about the false alibi Maria previously gave to investigators. The next morning, Maria tries to act as though everything is normal, while Liam and Jake happily head out together for a game of football. She forces a smile as the family shares a lighthearted moment, but the atmosphere changes the instant the boys leave. Once they are alone, Maria can no longer hide how devastated she feels. Gary insists that neither of them has anything to worry about, but his reassurance does little to ease her fears. Maria refuses to believe him. As far as she's concerned, the damage has already been done. Their trust has disappeared, their marriage has fallen apart, and she can't see any future left for them together. Could this finally be the end of Gary and Maria's relationship once and for all? It was really sad. Coronation Street star Molly Gallagher opens up about Nina's exit. Molly Gallagher has finally spoken about saying goodbye to Coronation Street, admitting that leaving Nina Lucas behind was an emotional experience. Speaking during an appearance on This Morning with presenters Kat Deely and Ben Shepherd, the actress confessed that the departure was far from easy. It was really sad, Molly admitted, describing the moment she learned she would be leaving the ITV soap. Since arriving on the cobbles in 2019, Nina quickly became a fan favorite. Introduced as Roy Cropper's long-lost niece, she soon stood out thanks to her distinctive Gothic style, quirky personality, and close relationship with Roy. One of Nina's biggest storylines came when she and her boyfriend, Seb Franklin, became victims of a brutal hate crime. The violent attack carried out by Corrie Brent and his friends because of Nina's alternative appearance remains one of the soap's most heartbreaking storylines. Nina's exit also ends any immediate hope that viewers might see her reunite romantically with Asha Alahan, disappointing many fans who had hoped the pair would eventually find their way back to each other. Reflecting on leaving the show, Molly admitted she struggles whenever major changes happen in her life. "I don't like change," she explained. "I find it difficult. Everything happened very quickly because I only had a few days before rehearsal started. In some ways that actually helped because I had to mentally separate one chapter from the next." Despite moving on, Molly believes Nina's story may not be over forever. "I absolutely love Coronation Street, and I honestly hope this isn't goodbye for good. I don't feel like Nina's journey has completely finished." Although her time in Weatherfield has come to an end for now, Molly has already begun an exciting new challenge on stage. She is taking on the lead role of FBI trainee Clarice Starling in a theater adaptation of the classic thriller The Silence of the Lambs. The character is one of cinema's most recognizable heroines, following the determined young investigator as she interviews imprisoned serial killer Hannibal Lecter in order to catch another dangerous murderer. Joining Molly in the production is John Partridge as Hannibal Lecter, while Oliver Farnworth portrays Clarice's superior, Jack Crawford. The production is directed by Nikolai Foster, with the stage adaptation written by Gina Gionfriddo, before embarking on a nationwide UK tour beginning in August. During the interview, Molly admitted stepping into such an iconic role brings plenty of pressure. "It's been incredible," she said. "I've always loved performing in theater. The Silence of the Lambs is such a legendary story that audiences naturally arrive with high expectations." She explained that performing live creates a completely different experience compared to the famous film. The movie relies on close-up shots and subtle expressions, but on stage, everything has to be communicated through your body language and your voice. It's a different challenge, but one I've really enjoyed. Molly acknowledged the legacy left by Jodie Foster's Oscar-winning performance, but said she knows she must create her own interpretation. "She's an absolute icon. Of course, people might expect to see Jodie Foster, but instead they'll be getting my version. You have to make the role your own." She added that she is connected with Clarice's determination to prove herself in a male-dominated profession. "What really speaks to me is Clarice being underestimated. She's constantly fighting to earn respect, and that's something many women can relate to. The script is beautifully written and gives us everything we need to tell that story." Preparing for the production has also meant mastering a convincing Southern American accent. "I've always enjoyed Southern American accents, so I'm happy we're using one," Molly revealed. "Watching Jodie Foster's performance helped me understand the rhythm of her speech. She has a very distinctive way of talking, almost as though she's gently chewing while speaking." She also explained that changing her natural Manchester voice has required plenty of practice. "I normally speak quite high in my voice, but Clarice needs a much deeper, more confident tone. She's training to become an FBI agent and wants people to take her seriously." Molly also had warm words for her co-star John Partridge, saying he perfectly captures the unsettling nature of Hannibal Lecter. "I'd never worked with John before, but he's fantastic. He's incredibly kind off stage, yet somehow becomes genuinely terrifying when he's playing Hannibal. That's exactly what the role needs." She revealed that because Lecter performs from inside a cell, the actors are still fine-tuning how their scenes will work in rehearsal. "John is currently using a microphone, which really helps. We're still experimenting with how close Clarice and Hannibal should be during their conversations, but our director has a fantastic vision, so we completely trust the process." The Silence of the Lambs will begin touring theaters across the UK this August.